Live. Let's go. And we're live.
What's up?
Welcome,
Thanks for having
everybody.
me. Yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for waiting patiently.
Yes, that was all Ben's fault. Kidding. No, it was all my fault. There was some stuff going on. Maybe some of you guys saw the tweets.
I think I had audio playing. Sorry, I just
No,
muted
that
it.
was me too.
Okay.
Yeah, so had to put a tweet out addressing that as I was losing followers. I think I'm down like 50 followers, but that's fine. Yeah, so I guess just to address the allegations, maybe I'll go into it a little bit more in detail. But there was somebody who used one of the thumbnails to my video, someone who's not following me or I didn't really have much affiliation with. And he just took it without permission. So I figured I'd let him know, like, listen, if you want to use my thumbnails, just ask, or at the very least, credit me, because that's what artists do, when they quote someone or when they use something, they usually ask permission or they credit, and he didn't want to do that. So I just said, hey, why don't you do that? And he started being threatening. He started saying a lot of things that I didn't like. And unfortunately, he blocked me and then locked his account, so I couldn't see any of his allegations, which is very cowardly. And he was posting screenshots on Twitter of our DMs. And everyone knows that's a big no-no. Unless, like, you absolutely have to. You never, ever publicize DMs. DMs are private. And it says a lot about someone who's so trigger happy to publish DMs like that. And it's very unfortunate. And not only to publish DMs, but to not even give me the dignity to respond to them. So I won't give you guys, I won't give him the dignity of being mentioned by me. And yeah, that's really that. Maybe I'll go a little bit more into detail tomorrow. Maybe I'll post, I don't think I'm going to post screenshots of the DMs unless people want evidence of what he says, but that's really that. Sorry about my rant, guys. What's going on, Ben? Thank you for coming on. You guys know I'm going to be on Ben's show at 4:30 today as well, so we got a double header going. But what's going on, Ben?
That's right. Furu is coming on the channel for what's called a moonterview.
That's right.
So not just a normal interview; it's a moonterview. So it should be pretty fun. I had a Wild SJ on. I had Matty Allen on, and it's just a conversation. So we don't necessarily talk all about crypto. Like, it was cool talking to Wild SJ. She used to do like commercial acting, so that was kind of fun to learn about that. She, had some cool stories about Puerto Rico. And then Maddie, I'd kind of heard him talk about it, but Maddie used to work in I'm saying this all wrong. There's like a brain where you study brains in a lab. I don't know if that makes any sense. I forget the word for it, but it was really cool. So get to learn more about Furu, get some cool, fun conversation about whatever. So that's the Moon Review. Furu's coming on, but thanks for having me, man. That tweet from Richard Hart last night was pretty outstanding. I had a great night. I play soccer, so I had my first game with a soccer team that I joined. It's like a Sunday league, but we play on Monday and Wednesday. But you get the idea. So that was awesome. I love playing soccer. Makes me feel amazing. I finished the game and I see those tweets from Richard Hart. It was just like an amazing moment. I was like, wow, this is awesome. So very exciting stuff going on. We hit 10 cents, I believe. And I stayed up late last night. I've been on a nice early sleep schedule, but that had me so excited. I stayed up late, and then I was watching Funding Jim's stream with Gary Cardone, and Rags to Riches and Crypto Heartbeat and Walrus. And Johnny Chaos was on, and it was so good. I tweeted about it, but go check that out if you haven't watched it. It was so good. I ended up staying up late. Hex price and the announcement was so exciting, and that stream was so good, I just couldn't go to sleep. So it's exciting stuff, and I got my South Carolina shirt on today. So shout out, to South Carolina.
Yeah, exciting stuff. Let's go say hi to the chat. First of all, before I go back, I noticed Havid Hex is here. Havid,
Nice.
this is the first time I've seen you in here. I don't know if you know, but we quote you. We use your tweets regularly, and I actually have prepared the
Sure.
Ivan on Tech stuff, and obviously you played a pivotal role in making that happen. And I think that is the climax, like mass mainstream adoption. So we really appreciate that. We appreciate your content, and it really helps the show out. So you definitely deserve a shout out, a great shout out, and you're always welcome on. That's another thing. No pressure, obviously, but you're always welcome on the show. And obviously, we appreciate all that you do, you know. But yeah, let's go say hi to the chat. We got Crypto Mance. What's going on? What's up, JJ? Ben Dubard. What's going on, Ben? Bob's a Patreon, guys. Get in the Patreon. YNWA. We got Johnny Veritas. I seen you in the comments. Nice to see you live. Metastang. Shout out to you. Patreon. Hexodus. Rich Rose. Elliot Chapo. Davis. Yo, don't forget to take profits soon, or soon all we will hear is hodl or else. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I have an interesting point to make on that one.
Yeah, go for it.
So when Maddie was on my channel for the moon interview, he talked about practicing taking profits.
Yeah.
It's actually because it feels bad when you sell when something's up high, but it's logically like the correct thing to do. So I actually practiced taking profits last night. The ETH gas was like $3, $4. So I just sold some HEX because I was like, this is a moment where I really don't want to, like, the price is up. So yeah, I never really thought of that, like practicing selling when things are like kind of euphoric, I guess. Things are really green. I mean, we're up like what, almost 500% from the bottom.
We're up more.
Oh, more than that? Yeah. So I mean, I think Davis makes a good point. You know, so that's something I learned from my first bull market. And I've just learned from a lot of coins and stuff. You know, obviously Hex can do its own crazy thing, but you know, there reaches a point where it's like, oh, you know, we're never gonna stop. We're never gonna stop. And like everyone is like ultra mega bullish. And yeah, sometimes you just gotta like be reasonable, I guess.
All right. Well, I actually bought, not yesterday though, but at like 8 cents. I'm practicing my buying. I think the time to practice selling is not yet. I think you'd agree though. And
yeah.
Havid Hex, appreciate you two guys. You're on every day and doing what others can't. Always happy to tune in when I get a YouTube notification. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Havid Hex. We appreciate it. Nice. All right, let's just get into the charts. We'll do like a quick look at Bitcoin. It's tradition, you know what I'm saying? But right now, Bitcoin is trading at 28,126. So we had like all this bad news. You would think that the two biggest crypto banks going under would be the sort of, so to speak, black swan, you know, that nobody expected, that really destroyed the markets. But crypto's pumped more than it has in what, like 4 or 5 months, despite that, maybe because of that. So what's your take on that?
I don't know. What is your take? You go first.
My take is that we're so oversold that you know, I kept on saying that's a sign of the bottom, when you're just so oversold that the people that are in there are so hardcore they're not even going to sell on bad news. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that would have gotten out got out already, I think.
Yeah. I have no idea, man. Like I see both sides and I'm just kind of chilling.
What's going to be the news of 11K in prey? It's going to be what? Mount Gox?
Who knows, man? I don't know.
Mount Gox, we just had the 2 bakes go under and Mount Gox will be the 11K.
I don't know. It's just interesting to watch. I'm just ready, you know, focused on Pulsechain and looking forward to the testnet and whatever else happens with everything else. I'm just kind of like whatever. I'm here for the ride, you know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, that's it for Bitcoin. It did bounce off that resistance, and I didn't move it. Okay, because my lines are epic. Yeah. Don't let that guy make fun of my TA. My TA is number one. Everyone gets their TA from me. No, I'm kidding. I don't believe in TA, which is, yeah. We do it anyway, though, because I give the people what they want. And what about the HEX chart? We are at 10 cents, guys. Wow. How does that feel to be at 10 cents?
It feels good. I mean, it's crazy. I remember when we were saying we were never going to go below 10 cents. I remember those days.
I remember when people were saying that.
And I remember when Richard Hart lit the candles at 10 cents as well.
Yeah.
So good times.
Those are the good old days, but it's crazy. So I don't know. Is there more pain to go? Because I don't know. The last couple of months, you guys should obviously, I keep saying pat yourself on the backs. The last couple of months were very painful. If that's not pain, I don't know what pain is. But you had everyone going out there, a lot of people jumping ship for other coins. There was a lot of infighting. There was also a lot of people trying to say that maybe Pulsechain was never going to launch. But that all seems to go to rest with a couple of green candles, right? So I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot. We've been getting a ton of updates too, so I think that helped with a lot of the confidence as well. And that also, helped the price. I think one thing is I kind of expected price would maybe pump harder on that tweet last night. Maybe we're just spoiled.
The pump isn't over though. We're just getting started, hopefully.
If you think of like the bull cycle, I guess, I would agree, you know. When I was saying practicing taking profits, I'm talking like less than 1% of my total thing. I'm also
I know.
I saw someone in the chat. I'm over 90% stake. So for me, it's like I'm really practicing for Pulsechain and PulseX, because one thing I was talking with Maddie about was I have like a strategy to DCA out for that, and I'm worried I'm not going to stick to it, because that's an issue I've had in the past with other coins, you know, where I'm like, I'm going to sell at this point, and then I get greedy and I don't. And I'm like, well, I'll sell at this point, and then it never gets to that point. And it's part of like the emotional FOMO of like, oh, if I sell here, then if it just does another whatever percentage gain, I'll have this much money. And then I should that'd be stupid of me to sell now. And then everyone in the Telegram and the Twitter, you know, and this isn't about Hex. This is just about like any coin, really. Everyone's like, you'd be stupid to sell now. We already did this much. We're going to do this much next. So I think it's good. I think it's good to practice. I think that makes a lot of sense, you know.
Yeah,
especially
definitely.
when gas fees are low. I mean, when gas fees are high, it's, you know, it sucks, but it's exciting times, man. Yeah, I think streams like Access Alive and Hex Fire, Crispy Man, that's where it's at, you know, for the supply alpha and like all that, and the liquidity alpha. You know, I like to talk about the mental side of things and because I like the cultural side of crypto and stuff like that. But if you want the alpha, the pure liquidity alpha, look at the supply, look at the numbers like Crispy Man and Axis, and hope I'm not missing anyone.
Johnny,
they have some great content. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, and definitely agree with all that. And they're saying a lot of things now. And they actually said one of the things they said was the liquidity was pulled till 12 cents, and that is like right in line with my cup and handle target. No, this is it, right? We took it from the bottom of the cup, right, to the handle, to the top of the handle, or something like that.
Right.
And look,
about a cup and handle. Got my coffee right here.
There you go. We have a 12-cent target.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're gonna get all into the details shortly about Pulsechain launch. There are a few things that I wanted to bring up, which was obviously crypto bubbles. We got some good marketing going on for HEX right now, up 15%, 15.6% on the day. And let's see how many onboards we got. 121. That's triple digit onboards every single day. And for 10 days, 10 days in a row, triple digit onboards. What's your take on 10 days in a row, triple digit onboards?
That's awesome.
Pretty nuts, no? Pretty indicative of very, very good price performance in a bull market. We're not even getting started, dude.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting times.
Yeah, it is exciting times. And you'll see as the price goes higher, the price predictions will go higher. So when we were at like 2 cents, everyone was saying $1.80. Now we're up to like $5-6. What's your prediction for price predictions when HEX is at 50 cents? You like that price prediction for price predictions?
Like if we hit, financial advice can't see the future, but we're at all-time high. Like where do I think we can go from there?
No, what are people going to be saying we could go? Because
when we're at
everyone at like 1.7, everyone's saying like HEX will go to like $1.80, $2. But now everyone's saying $5.
If can't see the future, not promising anything. We're going to be at 50 cents, let's say, hypothetically. Oh, $500 is guaranteed. we're at 50 cents. $500 is guaranteed this cycle, But that's how it always goes, the higher price gets, the crazier like the predictions get.
Yeah, because more people come into the system and they're getting in new and they expect
then the guy who bought at 50 cents, of course, is like, oh, $500. Of course, this is the coin that gets mad gains. Like, so.
Yeah, and no one comes into crypto expecting a 5-10x, right? So you have the new people coming in at 50 cents. They want 100x. So they're going to be calling for $50. That's fine.
Yeah, I think that was a mistake I made my first bull run, is not realizing I didn't fully understand how much, like, how people had bought so much lower than me, because I came in like August 2020, which was kind of at the beginning of the parabolic move, but I didn't, so when Richard Hart called the top, I didn't believe him. I was like, no, like what? And like everyone was like, we're just getting started, like 100K Bitcoin is like programmed. Like, of course we're hitting 100K. Look at these charts comparing everything, So, like, I think that was a mistake, and I think that's why that happens. Like, people come in at like 25 cents, 30 cents, 50 cents. They just heard about HEX, and they're like, oh yeah, like everyone's talking about 100x gains and stuff. Well, 100x times 50 cents is $50, and so like, of course I'm going to get at least that from this coin that's everyone's saying is so amazing. So, well, there are a lot of coins like that I held in the first cycle that did like a 20x, and I was like, we're just getting started. And then it's just like out there and stuff like that. And I was like, what? Like, it was going to be worth hundreds of thousands. What happened? Everyone said. So
the good news is, if you're in here now, even if you completely miss the top, you're still going to be in insane profits. Like, even if you sell too early, too late, since you're in early, the bottom of the next bear market is probably going to be considerably higher than these prices regardless.
And like, to me, HEX is all long term anyway. Like, I have a ladder, but I just do 15-year stakes now. And I'm young, so it's different for everyone. People have to figure out their own strategy. But for me, like, Pulse and PulseX also long term for me. But also, like, it's a bit different than HEX for me. Like, HEX is like lock it up, get the yield, 15 years, that kind of thing. Pulse and PulseX definitely going to be like a little bit different strategy wise. Although there is Matty Allen's time locking smart vault, which is pretty interesting. The reverse a hack that's there. But something I wish I'd asked him that I forgot about on my interview with him was, what about the argument of just buying HEX and staking and locking that, like selling your PulseX, buying HEX and just locking that instead of locking Pulse and PulseX? But I don't know, there's so many different Pulse and PulseX like opens up this box of like all these different possibilities of like things to do now. It's like, oh, stake hex, but now it's like you have all these things, all these options, and so
It's
it's
true.
just like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, it's true. But you're going to have a long time horizon if you want to make money in Pulse and PulseX, I think. So, I mean, you should probably also sell some and, stake it. But you could also time lock, depending on everyone's different, obviously. But yeah, there's
Well,
different ways to use the
yeah,
tools
I don't
afforded.
plan on selling my entire bag of any of these three things. Definitely. So
Yeah, there you go. And Rich Roast gives
for
$6.66. Thank you so much for the generous donation.
nice.
Really, really appreciate it. No message. Really appreciate it. Rich Roast. RH Max is here. What's going on, RH Max? Are you guys subscribed to RH Max? You should be. If you're not, and you should be giving him the thumbs up and the like. Hexiest man in the world. What's going on, Hexiest man in the world? I got to have you back on the show sometime. And Humberto Gonzalez says, smash the like button, guys. Let's show how strong our community is. 100%. 140 people watching. So go hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on the notification. And then go over to Ben Dubard's channel and do the same. Right, Ben?
Yes.
Only in Hex are there so many smart, friendly content creators making videos and live streams all the time. It's true, because no one else does it for us. We got to do it ourselves. We don't have the big influencers, which is a double-edged sword. Oh, and PokeChamp says, when you see the guy with the best hair in crypto in the stream with the guy with the best smile. Which one's which? Thanks, man, for whichever. Oh, man. Okay. We gotta get on with the show, but we're gonna get back to your chats shortly. First thing I wanted to bring up was Ivan on Tech. Ivan on Tech is literally one of the biggest influencers in crypto. Period. 405,000 on Twitter, and I think he has more on YouTube, which is more impressive because YouTube subscribers, to quote Triple the Mogul, are the hardest thing to get. And he is, I would normally prepare like a tab of the tweet, but I just figured, why don't we just go to his account, because he's had so many tweets about the Hex pump and about Pulsechain and everything. And this would only be like a wet dream for someone that in the Hex community last bull market to have such a big mainstream influencer so all in on it. But now it's just like we've gotten kind of acclimated to it, and it's not as significant, but it should be, because this is crazy. So like, look at this. He's got congrats Hex on 10 cents. This is from Morales Money, which is his company. He's liking and retweeting Jake Sharp, who said Hex hit 10 cents. So I'll like and retweet that too.
I saw he followed Westcott Crypto.
Yeah. We're gonna get to that. Then obviously Havid Hex, I liked and retweeted that already. They're like regularly corresponding. This is insane. And then so this is Westcott Crypto. Should I play the song? He's very talented. We could play it. We could play it. We could play it for you guys. I don't know. We might get copyrighted though.
True. Yeah, you might.
Well, I don't think
I saw a tweet that he couldn't post it on YouTube.
Okay. So go check that out.
It's so hilarious. Like, if you haven't seen it, you got to go watch it. It's stuck in my head. The song is literally stuck in my head this morning.
Retweeting Richard Hart's update, and I like this action Hex growing portfolio like bamboo. So he's promoting. This is a big breakthrough. He has not been promoting Hex influencers before, and when he retweets, he's getting his 500,000 followers exposure to people that are constantly promoting Hex Pulsechain and PulseX, and there aren't even 500,000 wallets holding Hex. So how crazy is that? How significant is that for the history books? That's really the question, Ben Dubard.
It's pretty awesome. I think you're right. Like, it would have been crazy to have this kind of, I don't know, this kind of support's like normal now, but yeah, like this would have been crazy. the last HEX like bull cycle is kind of just ignored by everyone. So it's pretty awesome. And I really like Ivan on Tech. So his Morales Academy is really awesome. It was called the Ivan on Tech Academy, but now it's called Morales Academy. But they have good courses on like understanding kind of like the technical side of like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then they have like developer courses too. But that's really cool service. So yeah, I think Ivan's like one of the smart, honest people in the space. So it means a lot to me that he's supporting Hex and Pulsechain and stuff, and it is like reassuring, I guess. Like it's nice. We see the smart, honest guy also likes Hex and PulseX. The big, smart, honest influencer, because there's a lot of big influencers out there who aren't necessarily smart or honest. So, and a lot of them aren't promoting Hex or Pulse, and it kind of just tells you like they're just promoting their own agenda, or just doing whatever. They're going after their clicks and views. Where Ivan is like, oh, I see this thing, like it has value. What Richard Hart is doing is very interesting. So exciting, very cool.
Yeah. Also, the significance is, first of all, he's giving clout to Hex, people, Hex content creators, which is huge. I mean, because most of his audience is not like purists
That is
as
cool.
far as with Hex.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he'll give some to us. But yeah, share the spotlight. Don't keep it to yourself. Well, he's big enough that he could just keep it to himself, and that's fine. But also it signals to other influencers that you can talk about it and it's okay. I think a lot of influencers out there are thinking, oh yeah, I mean, I like Hex. I might have even sacrificed for Pulsechain, but my audience doesn't like it that much. They're from Cardano, or they're from Ethereum, or they're from Doge, those kinds of communities that are more likely to be hostile towards Hex. And, so as much as I like it, I risk losing my audience if I shill it. And they wouldn't want to take that chance, right? But then you have Ivan on Tech comes out there and he talks about it very openly and very favorably, and to the point where now it's like he is pretty much in the community. Like he's already retweeting people like Jake Sharp and all those kinds of people. He beat Hex, and he's doing just fine. He's still beloved by his followers, and he's won over one of the most engaging communities in crypto. So I think that will send a clear signal to other influencers that it's okay. It's okay to talk about Hex. It's okay. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think also like Ivan, people know how technically smart he is. Like they know he understands blockchain. And with Richard, Richard understands blockchain amazing as well. But a lot of these people, maybe they don't know it. They just see his outrage marketing, or they just hear, the he said, she said stuff. So when Ivan on Tech is here, like kind of promoting this stuff, he's kind of like a respected authority on, like, a lot of these guys. They probably know they couldn't step to Ivan on Tech and say like, that's a scam, because like they're like, oh, Ivan knows way more about this stuff than I do. So like, I think maybe it's an eye-opening thing for a lot of these guys. They're like, oh, what have I been missing about this thing? Or they're just remaining ignorant. And they're like, Ivan's gone off the deep end.
No, well, they're not. I think that is indicative of, I think, upcoming mainstream adoption, especially combined with the MEXC listing. I think an exchange the caliber of KuCoin is next. I think this thing is really taking off a lot quicker, a lot sooner, and a lot faster, and a lot bigger than we even thought it would this upcoming bull market. I mean, we just see it starting to unfold, and it's happening faster and faster. It's really an unbelievable thing.
What is your take on the centralized exchange?
Well, first, let me give you the take. But first, we have to give a shout out to Funding Jim. Thank you so much for tuning in. Shout out to
Nice.
Funding Jim. And yeah, Ivan says he owns Hex. It's true. The centralized exchanges. I mean, how could you not be in favor of getting centralized exchange listings if you want to be viral and if you want to be mainstream? That's really the question.
I mean, I see the arguments of, Hex is only on the blockchain and it's transparent. And when you have like the centralized exchanges get involved, they could just be selling paper Hex. they could just be giving you, yeah, you just bought HEX, and they're just saying you bought HEX. So, I feel like that was a big bragging point, I guess, that we've had in HEX, is like, we're all on chain, everything's on chain. I can see, like, it's good for adoption, but I guess it muddies the waters a little bit, and I have mixed feelings about it, honestly, but it makes it easier to onboard. But if it turns, I guess it's inevitable that this would happen. Like, if it turns into just like fake HEX being sold, like a lot of these cryptos, it's just like, Funding Jim's making some good points in the chat, though.
Centralized exchange is a bridge from fiat to crypto. That service is good. That the people that enter crypto from no coin status, 95% go through an exchange. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. It's like, yeah, we're getting some good gains on a DEX, but there comes to a point where if you want to bring in new money, you need to go where the big money is. 100%. And who I mean, it's cool that all the trading's is on chain and everything, but we dropped 97% anyhow. So I mean, does it really, practically speaking, make that much of a difference? I mean, as long as they're audited,
Yeah, I mean,
like Coinbase is audited by Deloitte, I don't think they're doing any funny business.
I think it's inevitable that, like, if you're a crypto that's popular, you're going to get listed whether you like it or not. But I feel like it raises some, like, interesting scenarios of, like, I don't know, could we get fake HEX that kind of muddies the waters of, like, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, you could, but I think if you're on a
Because
good
we have
exchange,
the Staker app's pretty good for onboarding. Well, I've got a guy who's having issues. A subscriber of mine, like I tweeted, he asked me to reach out to Staker app, and we're trying to get him sorted. But I don't know. It is like my mom, for example. Like, she's like, "Is it on Coinbase?" When
yeah.
she wants to buy something. To
And
Gary's point.
And my friends like to me, you shouldn't buy HEX because it's not on Coinbase, which means that it's not on any centralized exchanges. And obviously, I told him the Richard Hart, you know the drill. You got to get it before it gets listed. That's the opportunity. Blah blah blah, and that is true. But the opportunities to get in before, meaning inevitably it will get listed on the centralized exchanges. That is the end game if you want that mass adoption. So I'm sure there is some funny business going on, but overall, I mean, they need to take a huge amount of HEX off the market in order to have the liquidity to even satisfy the withdrawal needs of their customers. And it's not going to be left on exchanges at the frequency of other coins, because the contract is trustlessly offering you the ability to earn 38% APY for taking it off the exchange. So I think a lot of people are going to do that, and they're going to have to hold a tremendous amount of liquidity in any case. And
that makes sense. And Funding Jim made a good point. Again, it's up to the good content creators to educate people.
Yeah,
on the
that's what we're here for.
Getting it off an exchange, and I think we all preach that. So
yeah, and also people talk about like getting on a NASCAR commercial, getting on a NASCAR car, getting a wrapped NASCAR vehicle, or getting on billboards, stickers, television ads. So if you want that marketing to be effective, it has to have a seamless way of allowing the consumers to immediately be able to purchase it. And there's just too many hoops to jump through at this point with decentralized exchanges. Decentralized exchanges are good, and the idea that they're there in case the coin gets delisted is important. And they're really important also in the sense that they allow you to transact on chain without counterparty risk and all those kinds of things. But they're not ready for prime time yet. I mean, maybe one day HEX will only be on decentralized exchanges. So we have to accept reality. We live in the real world. We need to have a real world view. And that worldview is most people cannot get to HEX without centralized exchanges. That's overall what it is.
I also tend to think that the average person, they don't want to hold their own crypto anyway. Like, people feel good not having the responsibility of looking after their money. Like, people just don't want to take responsibility for most things anyway. A lot of people, it's like a new trend, I guess.
Yeah,
in society. I mean, I've met people who are like, I met this guy, he was like a computer science guy, he was smart, obviously. And he was like, he didn't hold any of his crypto. He had it all on BlockFi and stuff. And this was like a few months. I think it was like this summer. So, before it all imploded, but it's just interesting to me. Like he traveled a lot. So he was like, oh, it just makes sense. Like, I don't want to have to hold it. Like, but that's kind of like not the point of everything of crypto, but that's just the way it is for most people. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah, so that's as far as the Ivan on tech thing. And then before we got one more thing before we get to the Pulsechain thing, our featured story. Then we'll get to your chats. We got 174 people watching. So if you're enjoying, please hit the like button and subscribe. And check out Ben Dubard's content. He's got excellent stuff. All his social media links are in the description. So you guys can just go there and hit all of them and follow them. Please follow me on Instagram. I don't even have 100 followers. It's not looking good for me. So
depressing.
Links in the description, guys. Follow me on Instagram. But without further ado, the next thing was KDP announced that HEX flipped XRP. What's your take on HEX flipping XRP?
It's cool. It's very cool.
And BNB's next.
Yeah, I tend to hold. I don't care too much about that stuff. I guess it's good for marketing and whatever, but I never even go. Oh my god, excuse me. I never even go to coin ranking sites anyway. So I see people tweet about it, but woohoo.
No, it is crazy. All that's left is coin market cap to list and list properly, and it's game over, dude.
Yeah. I wonder if they ever will. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah.
It is cool that Ivan on Tech is also kind of calling them out for that.
Ivan on Tech called them out. Crypto Mason called them out. It's starting to signal to influencers that it's okay to criticize them. It's okay to talk about HEX. And obviously, MEXC is pretty legit. MEXC is a pretty legit exchange. So I think maybe guys consider to get in the KuCoin threads and tell them, hey, would you possibly maybe consider listing HEX? It's really cool. MEXC just listed it. I think that'll really make a difference. The things that you guys do on Twitter and obviously TikTok and everything make a huge difference. And if not for Havid HEX getting tagging Ivan and those kinds of things, maybe we wouldn't be where we are at today. So what you do makes a difference. I think that's the overall point. And I think what and obviously funding Jim has made a huge difference. And Ben's made a huge difference. And Hexiest Man in the World's made a huge difference. I mean, these things make a difference, and it affects price. You might not see a pump like right after, Ivan on Tech tweets, although you may as well. You may also. But what you do now affects the price later. There's no question about that. So definitely consider that. But yeah, let's go take a look at the chats for a second. Anything interesting going on?
Funding Jim's talking about centralized exchange stakes HEX through the protocol and cash flows above the customers that buy and hold it liquid on the centralized exchange ledgers. I remember Johnny Chaos was talking about that too here on your channel.
Yeah, that was my question. Is that our centralized exchange is going to do some sort of staking thing, the way they stake Ethereum, they allow people to stake Ethereum, and I think they will.
That would be
whether or not you want it.
It's, as long as they're actually doing it, like actually staking it and stuff.
But could there be a stake run, like a bank run, like a stake run, where they don't have enough liquid to meet the customers' withdrawals?
If they're not staking, I mean, I guess.
Well, if they're offering, let's say 7% APY, and they're staking for 38% or 20%, there's huge margins there.
Yeah,
and that's probably what they would do. I mean, why not? People will take it because people don't want to take the time to learn for themselves and things like that.
That's true. I'm seeing more clearly the HEX on a centralized exchange kind of benefits now.
Yeah,
So.
we gotta be real here, folks. It's definitely good. Should I sell my HEX I bought at 3 cents, but I'm afraid to dump? I'm afraid of the dump when Pulsechain launches.
It's totally personal, man.
Yeah.
No idea. Got to make that decision for yourself. Like, no one can tell you.
Oh, also, a thing I noticed in the one-on-ones, which you guys could book in the description below for free with me, is that there's this all or nothing mentality. It's like you don't have to just dump it all. You could maybe trade some. You can allocate, let's say, 10% to trading, and 90% to buying, holding, or staking, or 10 trading, 50% staked, 40% just holding liquid. There's ways to game plan. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. And I don't know why everyone's so certain that there's going to be a dump when Pulsechain launches. It may be the opposite, just because everyone's saying that, and it may also not. I think buying and holding is number one, but I mean, it's an interesting thing. And Hexies Man said, "Bro, stake at least 75% of it for a year, and then decide. Save yourself from yourself, not financial advice." Yeah. I think also I'm surprised by it. So many people aren't staked, and it's like, you guys don't understand. You are going to be humbled by the markets when you realize that getting in and getting out is not as easy as it looks, and usually doesn't work out as people perceive it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, asking whether to sell or not, like how much, like no one knows, is that your rent money? Like it depends on so many factors, so.
Yeah. And
You really
Valen actually,
do your own research, watching the stream, you're in the right place, asking questions, it's good, but ultimately, like, no one can say yes or no to you. I guess they could, but I think you got to make that decision yourself.
True. And Valen says you want to sell before you get a free copy. That's also a great point. So that means the dump, meaning your USD value from selling the top, which you probably won't get, has to be more than the HEX on both chains combined, which is pretty unlikely. I mean, I don't know. Or maybe it'll be a little worth, I don't know. Pennies in front of freight trains. And Brazology's like, let's go. What's going on, Brazology? Brazology was on the show yesterday. Wish we could have had him on for longer. He was on a roll, and then he's like, I got to go. But he told me before he had to go, so we got to get you back on for the full show. But Brazology's a legend. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes, guys. 189 people watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Please get your ass to Ben Dubard's channel and go like and subscribe. He puts out great content, and he is a friend of mine, so please do that. But Richard Hart Win at Richard Hart Win. Have you heard of Richard Hart Win? Pulsechain and PulseX News. So this was the first thing he said. The AMM bot is being tested on what will become the public V3 testnet. When it's done well, PulseX will be tested, and then it can be made public. It's close. He said it's close. So that was the first tweet. He said it's being tested. So that told everyone that the sync is complete. We did all 10 stages in Aragon and, the whole thing. He said it's complete. And then he said that the AMM bot ratio, whatever is. So he's like, Testnet V3 is coming along great. AMM bot has finished running. Block Explorer indexers are feeding off the Aragon archive nodes. Lighthouse, Prisms, and Geth are working fine too. Now reviewing the new validator onboarding process. What's your first take on that, Ben Dubard?
Yeah, I think once we get that new validator onboarding process and the flex capacitor is fully charged, I think we're going to launch. It could be any second.
True. Yeah, great point. A lot of people leave that part out, unfortunately, but that's why we got you on the show.
That's right.
Is there a translation to English? I know you're on these things.
So what?
Is there an English translation for this?
It's written in English, man. What do you mean?
It's so funny. Like everyone's so desperate to quote tweet him, and like It's like when you make these quote tweets, no offense to any of these people, they're great people, but like they say like boom, like quote tweet boom. It's like you're making it hard to find the substantive quote tweets that actually explain what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I think I saw just a side note, I saw someone brought up his it was like 2 days before Testnet V2B launched. He tweeted a similar thing. Like he was like the AMM bot, just ran or like it's about to run. And we had V2B like a few days later. So
this should explain it. This makes a little bit more sense than the. I'm kidding. Yeah, I think this is a good way to put it. It's close, guys. Things are sinking. Great things are happening. So that was that as far as the update. And then we had another big thing came from Richard Hart saying, "This is what we could break down because there's a lot of ways to take this. There's a lot of directions you could go on." But he said when Pulsechain.com testnet v3 launches, that will also count as your warning that Mainnet could launch at any time. I really would love to see everyone enjoying their free coins as soon as possible. Fingers crossed. So the first way people could look at this is saying that, we could have a very short time frame between testnet v3 and Mainnet, right? He wants it out. But if you think a little bit deeper into it, why does he use the word warning that it could launch anytime soon? That seems to maybe imply that there will be no announcement before Pulsechain launches. And it's interesting because I was talking about this with Johnny Chaos. Shout out to Johnny Chaos. He said that he wants an unannounced launch. He doesn't want people gaming the system so they could pump and dump. I said maybe possibly it could be better to have it announced just because a pump is good marketing. It's a little bit of a complicated it's a complicated topic, but the point is, it seems like Johnny's wish is coming true that maybe it's going to be a stealth launch, quote unquote, where there's no announcement. What do you think? What's your take on this tweet?
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, when you think of what the word warning means, this will also count as your warning that Mainnet could launch at any time. So yeah, I mean, I think that's what that means. That's how I interpreted it as well. And I was actually wondering, I was saying this on my stream last week, I wonder once we get testnet v3 if Richard is going to give us like a time frame of how soon he thinks Pulsechain will launch. And I mean, it seems like, that's the warning. So it seems like it could be relatively soon if things go well. I mean, obviously it's a test net, so things can go wrong, and then the developers have to fix things. But I took it the same way. Like, this is the warning.
So another thing was that the liquidity providers, one of the things is that they want to remove the liquidity so they're not harvested by the AMM bot. So is this his warning to liquidity providers that you have to pull now because I'm not going to tell you? And that could really drive the price up because you have the announcement of Pulsechain coming out very soon, right? Richard Hart keeps saying it's happening soon. So that creates more demand. And then when you have high demand, a lot of buyers, and then the liquidity's pulled, it could really send the price flying. So do you think that was kind of part of the plan?
I don't know. Maybe that all makes sense. Like, the logic behind that makes sense, but
well, there you go.
It's exciting, to say the least.
It's very exciting. Do you have a preference, though? Which one do you think would be more beneficial? Do you think it would be more beneficial to make an announcement or to not make an announcement?
I don't know. I don't know which would be more beneficial. It really depends, I guess. I don't know. What do you mean by beneficial?
Okay, so for example, the discussion, Johnny Chaos does not want an announcement like we're going live in 1 week because that's going to lead to people, buying it up and then dumping once it launches, right? So it could be it could let people game the system, right? As opposed to, no announcement, and then people just have to, people can't game it. They have to either buy they either have to buy now or risk not being able to get in when you get a doubling.
Yeah. I think this is the warning. So yeah, I think now we just are waiting. I
But
like
which
that.
one is better?
That's fine. I think that I don't know which one is. I guess this way is better. I mean, I think it's fine. I certainly enjoy it.
I like this way better. You know why? Because Richard Hart likes it better.
I mean, I'm just chilling, man. I think that's great. I'm like, this is the warning. That makes me think it's really close. I think Bristology just said in the chat, if you want to pull up his thing, Richard said if a 2-week notice is good enough to leave a job, then it should be good enough for chain launch. So
yeah, but here
yeah,
we're getting no notice. It's just a V3 happens, and it could happen a day later. It could be a week later, and nobody knows. We got warned. You were warned.
yeah.
Let's leave it at that. You were definitely warned. So yeah, no, that's excellent. Wind Mechanics says, I agree with Johnny Chaos on no announcement of Snapshot or Mainnet. Testnet will be fun to test a few days. Richard Hart discussed plenty about this ad nauseum, and I'll take his word of warning. There you go. So I thought interestingly. So originally I thought that maybe it's better to announce it because then you could create this massive pump in anticipation. But at the same time, if you factor in that if he says there's no warning, there's going to have to, the LPs are not going to be able to remove their liquidity at the last second. They'll have to remove it probably a lot earlier, and that could really let it go to the moon. And I think maybe that's what Richard Hart's thinking. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
He said it makes sense.
It makes sense. It'll be interesting to see what occurs. I'm
It'll
just
be
ready to observe.
It's going to be interesting to see what occurs. So obviously, before we move on, so I had the price prediction for Mainnet. Let me just show you my TA targets. I don't know if I've done this before, but with you, but I ask all the guests. So we have here. This was the V3 because we were all the way down here at the time. So this was V3. 5.4, and this is Mainnet, like 7 cents. And we're at 10 cents, and V3 hasn't even launched. So I guess the question is, what do you see the price being when V3 and Mainnet launches?
Yeah, dude, I have no idea. No clue.
Neither do I, but I want an answer.
Well, I've said before, I thought between 10 to 20 cents seemed reasonable for like the lead up to V3. And it seems like we just hit 10 cents. So
what about Mainnet?
Oh, God. I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't even want to say a prediction because it just literally be pulled out of like I have no idea. I hear so many different perspectives on it. I like listening to Axis,
I like
Axis
listening.
Alive.
I like listening to Axis Alive too.
I like hearing what he says because they actually look at the data and I think back up their predictions, I guess, with some sort of evidence of whereas I'd just be making something out of thin air.
It's like Hex. You created out of thin air.
Yeah.
It's like the Federal Reserve.
I guess I wouldn't be too surprised if we broke all-time high.
I like Funding Jim's 20 to 30. Oh, I think it was 20 to 30 Mainnet. That makes a lot of sense. And he's been saying it since back at 7. So, And think about, if you guys have been dollar cost averaging, think about what your staking ladder is going to look like at 20 to 30 cents. You're probably going to have more US dollar value than you had even at the top of the bull market, which is really cool and really shows the power of dollar cost averaging. And then think about what it's going to look like at the top of the bull market. I mean, one could really only imagine. But could we get any predictions in the chat? 175 watching, hit the like, subscribe. Could we get any predictions?
Yeah, once we're like around all-time highs and you start like calculating your T-share daily payout You're like, I'm like a CEO.
It's true. It's true. Looks like no one wants to take a crack at it. That's fine. Feel free to
Yeah.
do it later, as long as you hit the like button and subscribe. Trader JX says 15 cents. Is that Mainnet? I guess you're saying V3 15 cents. I think that's reasonable.
Davis says 27 cents.
Yeah, okay. What's up, Mikey? I see you, Mikey. Davis 27. I'm assuming Mainnet. Nathan Espinoza says 21. Davis confirms Mainnet. Valen says 15 to 20 Testnet, 20 to 50 Mainnet. Okay, that's fair. Definitely fair, and I think anything could happen. I think macros also are going to make a difference and things like that. So that's it for the what Ben Cowan says, the dubious speculation. I like Ben Cowan. You can't not like Ben Cowan, honestly. Wait, I had K4K. He had a tweet I had in mind. Lost it. Okay, here we go. Practice on Pulsechain Testnet V3 looking to be a very ephemeral experience. So to be sure, to make use of the Pulse of the testnet when it goes live to practice moving your coins using the Pulse X DEX and the bridge. Looking forward to mainnet launch in the future of crypto, returning power to the people. Yes, I got it right. But yeah, what's your take on K4K? Are you guys following K4K and subscribe to him? I'm sure you are, but what's your take on K4K?
I think he's spot on. I mean, it's going to be really important to practice, especially if you haven't really done much in the DeFi space. It's going to be really important to practice on the testnet just to get used to things. It's better you send coins to a wrong address on the testnet than the mainnet, so take advantage of it, definitely. And also, I know K4K is probably going to have a lot of good tutorials, so I would keep an eye on his channel. I'm going to try and make some too, but K4K does really good tutorials, and so yeah, just take advantage and fool around and do stupid stuff on the testnet so you don't do it on the mainnet.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a very important point, which is why I brought it up. And guys, take advantage of the perks. Link in the description. Book a one-on-one with me for free, or go join the Patreon. We got awesome courses, weekly meetings, recordings of courses and meetings, Discord group, and many other great things. Go check out the link in the description. You can also book a one-on-one with Ben Dubard at bendubard.com. But yeah,
right.
what were you saying?
Trader JX is saying, is it in an ETH and Uniswap copy? What should we practice? Well, that's why I said if you haven't, I think there's people who are new and maybe they haven't used ETH or Uniswap and stuff. So
Isn't it an ETH and Uniswap copy? What do you
so
mean?
if you've used ETH and Uniswap or Polygon or these other DeFi chains, then yeah, it's not. It's still going to be fun to go on there and fool around, but it's more like if you haven't done that, then it's very
especially
crucial,
bridges,
to mess around with it. Yeah, I mean the bridge, it's pretty simple though. I mean, but if you're new, it can be intimidating and difficult. So
yeah, and the best part is the overall point is that there's no US dollar value. So if you mess up, you don't lose anything. That's going to change soon. That's really the overall point, and definitely recommend. You can learn more. Link in the description. Book a one-on-one. But yeah, that's shout out to K4K with that one. Then we got Ivan. Is Pulsechain V3 imminent? Havid Hex says so. Is she right? And she said any minute now. So what's your take on that? Ivan is into it.
Yeah, I think it was that guy Trevor was like, Ivan, just ask for her phone number, dude. Just like cheeky Ivan. Cheeky.
Yeah, dude, that would be great for if Ivan dates her. That would be very good for Hex, and it would be very good for Havid too. I'm sure because Ivan's a very high class man, very top notch guy. Okay. Hey, I'm in favor of that. Let's make that happen. Come on, Ivan. Get in those DMs. Be respectful. But yeah, nobody would want to turn down a guy the caliber of Ivan. So I say go for it. Worst that could happen is she'll say no.
You got it, Ivan. Don't be scared, man.
Yeah, and Ivan's a stud, dude. Ivan's gorgeous. So come on, get it done, bro. Yeah, there was actually one more thing I wanted to share before we take a look at the chats. So guys, get your chats in. First of all, go follow me on Instagram. Furu.finance. I'm at 95. Let me see how many I'm at. 95 followers. I got to get to 100. So 171 people. Just go hit it in the chat, please. And you want to put your Insta in the chat?
Sure. I don't ever post on it, but
well, you better get started.
Oh, I have 6 new followers I'm seeing. Wow. Very cool. I don't really like, I don't know.
You don't want people on your Insta?
I don't necessarily like Insta, but I'll do it.
Hey, your girlfriend's going to think you're cooler, man.
Yeah. So there you go. Maybe I'll start posting shorts there. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually have some good content. Some clips from my Patreon courses, some clips from my Patreon meetings also, and just some clips from the show. It's good. It's good stuff, man. Get on Instagram.
I think it's like too personal. Like I've got like people I knew like years ago, they like follow me and like it just is weird. Like family and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not really doing this for like social clout. I'm just trying to like talk about crypto stuff, I guess, or promote the personal brand that I'm like building. I'm kind of like, I don't want these people following me. If that makes sense.
No, it definitely makes sense. But you mean you don't want the personal people following you, or you don't want the crypto people?
I had an Instagram and then I deleted it because I was like, I don't really care to play that game of like, oh, my Insta, you know, ooh, look at me, I'm out at the whatever doing the whatever, ooh, and like people are like.
Can't hurt, man. It can't hurt. It's good for getting it out there. You got to save people from themselves, right? You got to save people from themselves.
That's true. Time to become an Instagram model.
Absolutely.
You persuaded me.
No, I don't. I just have like my crypto content on there. But yeah, Valen says Ivan is gorgeous. Fufu 2023 free testnet. He's a very good-looking man. It's true. Is it not true? I mean, if you think not, you're blind. I mean, no. And we're trying to get Havid to like him also. So, I'm sorry. People are cheering for a bank collapse. So this is a really good one because there's a lot of people that are delusional in crypto, and they think that somehow the entire system, financial system breaking down is good for crypto somehow. But it's not really good for crypto. And I saw this morning in my feed. I don't even follow him, but I liked it. So you guys could check him out. I follow him now. Emperor BTC. He might be a Bitcoin maxi, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have a great point. You got to learn from all walks of life, fellas. You got to learn from everyone. People are cheering for a banking collapse. 1, people will line up, get violent to withdraw their cash. 2, people won't be paid. Middle class will collapse. Babies will starve. All mom and pop shops will be mobbed. This is the last thing you want for Bitcoin to succeed. That is 100% correct. And regardless of your criticism of the banking system, it's people's lifeline. And if they can't get that money, then they can't live. So there should be, precautions put in place. There should be reforms to make it a more efficient system. that is essentially bank run proof, and they should be doing things better in many ways. I know Richard Hart talked about a lot of ways to solve it, but this idea that you want it all to burn and you think that'll somehow be beneficial for Bitcoin, there is no way that will be beneficial for Bitcoin. That will just hurt everyone because people won't be able to buy Bitcoin. Okay. And if you think that, oh, yeah, but people will just transact in Bitcoin, it's horrible for transacting. And also, the world is just not there yet. Like, they're not acclimated, like where they could just use it. Like, your grandma's not transacting in Bitcoin. We're just not there yet. It's not ready for prime time. I think anybody hoping for the mass bank failure should maybe reassess their priorities. But what do you think, Ben?
That's true, man. I think people are just cheering to get their bags pumped, you know. So
yeah, there you go. So yeah, people are cheering to get, and I don't know, Bitcoin really has nothing going for it, so they kind of have to have this delusion that they're going to be the world reserve currency when then it's never going to happen. I mean, that's kind of how they keep the party going. That's what I said in one of my Instagram posts. But that was some interesting stuff. We got 143 people watching, so do please hit the like if you can. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Ben Dubard's channel. Follow him on Twitter. All the links are in the description. Just click all the links, okay? Book your one-on-one. Join the Patreon. Go to Ben's website. Go to all Ben's stuff. Go to all my stuff. Anyways, any closing thoughts before we get to the chat, Ben?
Closing thoughts on everything we just went through.
He's bugging out about his puppy. That's what's happening. It's like, gotta feed the puppy.
Yeah, I think she's still napping. I think it's okay. Yeah, closing thoughts. Exciting times. You know, it's my closing thoughts. Subscribe to Furu. Hit the like button. But yeah, go rewatch if you missed the beginning. We had some good commentary early on, and yeah, subscribe to me if you want. Furu is coming on my channel today at 4:30.
That's right. Can we link that actually so people could turn on their notifications? I know you wanted me to come on right after. It's just very hard because,
well, I haven't exactly set it up yet, so there's nothing to link yet.
Oh, come on, man. Gotta come prepared.
Yeah.
Guys, I love coming on Ben's channel. It's really fun. In many ways, it's more fun than my channel. I think, you know, being the guy that's, you know, being hosted, you know, it's like when you go to your friend to dinner, you know, it's a vibe.
Champagne and crackers. It'll be a fine experience.
We're going to be talking all the Pulsechain stuff. We're going to be talking all the HEX stuff. We're going to be talking about anything. We're going to be answering your chats. So I want to see some good viewership in there.
Yeah, and then Thursday I'm going on RH Max, going on his channel. We're going to talk about like security stuff. So
he's he's a 10th degree security black belt.
Yeah, no, RH Max, super smart. I wrote a thread on security about a stream he did. He had a stream with a guy who got hacked, and then I have some security videos on my channel. Specifically, the main one, if you have HEX stakes and they aren't secured by a hardware wallet, I really recommend checking that out. And just check out the thread. Let me just link the thread.
Yeah, go link the thread. RH Max.
A lot of people don't understand that your MetaMask without a hardware wallet, your seed phrase is actually stored within your MetaMask in the browser. So even if you wrote it down and you think, oh, I'm not storing my seed phrase digitally, it's written down, it's still stored digitally within MetaMask.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like $69 to get a hardware wallet. So I mean, come on.
There you go.
But it adds complexity. You know, it makes it harder. Because I remember when I didn't have a hardware wallet, and it's so much easier to not have a hardware wallet. You just confirm transaction. You do stuff so fast with the hardware wallet. You got to plug it in and enter your PIN and approve it on there. And sometimes errors happen, and you got to troubleshoot and restart the computer or whatever. But you know, you're more secure, and that's really what's most important.
Yeah.
So just check out that thread. I just posted it, and I linked to some of my videos. But 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time Thursday, I believe, on RH Max's channel. So
securities engineer, you know,
yeah.
He's a securities engineer,
right?
So he knows.
Yeah, it should be good because I have a lot of questions for him too, just about general. We're going to talk about not only crypto security, but just internet security, computer, phone, all kinds of stuff. So that should be pretty fun.
There you go. So yeah, get subscribed to RH Max, get subscribed to Ben Dubard, get subscribed to Furu Finance, get subscribed to Brazology. He has a channel. He doesn't post. Why aren't you posting Brazology? I mean, everybody loved having you on yesterday. We need to hear more from you. Nah, no pressure. But let's see what you guys are saying. Brazology says once you feel the security of your hardware wallet, you really don't want to go back. You see the light, 100%. And guys, I have a Ledger affiliate link in the description if you guys want to buy if you guys want to buy a Ledger. It's what I use. Cheapest one works. If you get the more expensive one, you'll get me more money. So, but yeah, consider that. And Win Mechanic says, good point. For either way, everyone may get a taste of the digital currency. People won't be ready for Bitcoin if they truly reject the Fed now or CBDC. Yeah, 100%. And then Davis says, imagine everyone loses MetaMask loses everyone's keys in a hack. I don't think that's possible. Is that possible, Ben? I think it's just there's no like MetaMask database storing all the keys. I think it's each individual computer.
Yeah. I don't know.
But either way, don't keep your key on MetaMask. So they're talking about parity here. So Gareth F says always parity on long-term arbitrage equals free lunch will pass out. If price drops on ETH, then arbitrage says fee is worth buying in parity after a while. Yeah, I did a video specifically discussing how parity could be achieved. Whether or not it is achieved is up to the OA, and we're just gonna have to wait and see. Do you think it's advantageous to have parity, Ben?
Me?
Yeah.
Advantageous, I don't know. I mean, how so?
Because then it, I guess people like people's HEX doesn't go to zero or go lower. I don't know. Johnny says universal conduit. So if somebody wants to bring HEX to Pulse, they don't risk the price volatility using the bridge. And like if the price drops, because I heard people use the bridge, sometimes they have to wait like a couple days. So,
yeah, I mean, I think like Richard Hart said, expensive HEX on all chains is good.
Yeah, so, I think either, regardless of parity, I think that it's
yeah,
I think that HEX will do fine. I think it's going to do well because even if the gas prices are high, if not enough people are using HEX on Ethereum and staking, then you'll get a way higher yield, which could which could close the gap of the high gas fees, right? If you're earning 40% on one chain and 20% on the other, it's worthwhile to go where you're earning 40, even if you're gonna have to spend an extra couple $1,000 during the end stake. Barry Thomas just now saw the jump and logged on, going back to beginning to see thoughts. Yeah, totally. Thanks for tuning in, Barry Thomas. You got an end of week price prediction?
No, I don't. Sorry. Well. people want opinions, apparently.
Hey, I'm going to give the people what they want, but first I have to look at the charts, because somehow if I look at the charts and see what the price did, I'll know what it will do.
The Oracle.
I say we have a 13-cent HEX end of week. Screen record it. If I'm right, publish it. If I'm wrong, delete it.
Nice.
Michelle Scott says, I missed a sacrifice. Can you explain bridging to a noob, please and thank you? First of all, you look like you would benefit from my Patreon. We have a bridging course, and you could book a free one-on-one with me. Links in the description. The best way to explain it is the way Funding Jim talked about it. He talks about comparing the blockchains to highways and the tokens to cars. So Ethereum is one highway, and then Pulsechain is another highway. It's a copy. So Richard Hart's copying the Ethereum highway, but he's not just, normally they just copy the highway, but he's not just copying the highway, he's also copying the cars on the highway, right? So you're going to have your car, you're going to have your hex on, your hex is the car, you're going to have the hex on Ethereum, and you're going to have your hex on Pulsechain, right? But what if you want to get the hex on Ethereum, the hex where it's native to Ethereum, if you want to get it to Pulsechain, or if you want to get the hex on Pulsechain to Ethereum, you have to use a bridge. So the Ethereum car is going to have to go over the bridge onto the Pulsechain, and then drive on the Pulsechain highway. So you're having an Ethereum car on the Pulsechain highway. A good comparison also is Dev Kyle. Shout out to, we salute Dev Kyle. He said it's comparable to a casino. When you're outside the casino, you transact in cash. But if you want to transact inside the casino, you need to get chips. So you go to the front desk, you get the chips. So it's comparable. The front desk would be the bridge, right? You take your dollars, you give it to the front desk, meaning you take your hex on Ethereum, you give it to the front desk, you get a representative token in chips. Then you go into the casino or you go into Pulsechain, and then you get to spend money, gamble, buy drinks, tip the waitress, all those kinds of things inside the casino. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I'll shoot my shot explaining. It's just a way to bring your economic energy from ETH to Pulsechain. So if you have like $1,000 of USDC on ETH, you can bridge it over to Pulsechain, and it'll probably be called PUSDC, and it'll be basically what happens when you're bridging is like your ETH USDC gets burnt, so it gets destroyed, and then it's recreated on the Pulsechain. So that's how the supply can stay the same, or it's like held. It's actually not. I don't think it's burnt, but it's like held there. But it's just a way for you to bring your economic energy over, because the copies won't necessarily have value. Like USDC, and this goes into Trader JX's question. USDC and USDT and stablecoins that are just copied over to Pulsechain might not necessarily have dollar value. Probably won't. Very likely they will not. Almost certain they will not. Because it's like you can't just double the supply of like their reserves to hold the peg of $1 to them. So then you can just bridge in your stablecoin from ETH that will have its value and use that to purchase Pulse or PulseX, and so
there you go.
But I think the gas, so bridging to Polygon, and I used to do that. Sometimes the gas would be pretty ridiculous because you have to pay it. Even if you're bridging from ETH to Polygon, you pay a ETH fee and a Polygon fee. So you pay a fee on both networks, and sometimes it could be like $150, $200. So just keep that in mind. Bridging isn't, because it involves Ethereum, it can kind of suck. But I think there'll be ways to bridge from other networks too. That would maybe be cheaper, but hopefully both one of our explanations or both made sense to you.
Or the combination. We each, will complete each other.
Yes.
Danny Latouf says, do you think EHEX will dump massive when PHEX launches? What's your long-term thoughts on this overall? I guess Ben, go first.
It would make sense for it to dump, but then again, I'm really not certain about a lot of things in crypto. So to me, it makes sense. Long term, I see how EHEX would be similar to price to PHEX. But I've also more recently heard arguments that EHEX will die. And the only reason I take the argument seriously is because they're from people that I think are like really smart in the space. Because I didn't really see that as a possibility. But yeah, I think long term, either way, it's going to work out. You're going to get your copy. So if one chain does die, for whatever reason. Well, it doesn't really matter because you got what you had there anyway. So to me, it doesn't change much either way. Um, so yeah. What about you, Furu Finance? What do you think?
I think you have to first of all consider EHEX. Even if it dumps, you're still gonna have to keep in mind that if you hold it when Pulsechain launches, you get the copy. So the copy, which is gonna have US dollar value, is gonna help close the gap. So even if you get out at the top before EHEX dumps, let's say the copy's worth 25% of, what do you think the dump's going to be? 50%. Let's say PHEX is worth 50% of the value of EHEX, or let's say EHEX is worth 50% of the value of PHEX, which are both, plausible scenarios. In that case, even with a 50% dump, you are still effectively having the same US dollar value. And moreover, you're not engaging in high risk behavior. So I think it's a stupid thing to try and play the dump. I don't think it's smart. I think everyone's trying to do it. That could also, give rise to the possibility that there's not going to be a dump. I just don't think trying to play a dump is good. Even if there is a dump, are you going to sell at the top and buy at the bottom? Because usually, like we saw from the last bottom, right? It happens when nobody expects it. Everybody thought a penny and everybody missed the bottom. The only people that really made it were people that got very lucky, people that dollar cost averaged, or people that lied and said that they really got it when they didn't. So I just think it's a dangerous game. It's picking up pennies in front of freight trains. I just wouldn't engage in it with a significant amount of my portfolio, in my opinion. I think maybe you could allocate maybe 10% to profit taking on the pump. But I think if you're going to allocate anything significant, in my non-financial advice opinion, I just can't. I wouldn't think it's a good idea. But as far as EHEX dying, I don't think it's going to die. Richard Hart said he doesn't want to see cheap hex on either chain. So even if let's say one of them dies, there could be parity force, and I don't know. I don't think it will. But even if it let's say it does, if you want PHEX, you have to buy EHEX now. So, yeah, it's still worthwhile. I guess you could say maybe don't stake it, but I don't think it's going to die.
We got a good question from Anything and Everything down there.
Yes, and if EHEX goes to almost zero, the stakers will get paid a tremendous amount of interest. Correct. You are correct, and that's another reason why I've been saying that it's not going to go to zero, because the gas fees might be high, but if you're earning 40% interest more than on Pulsechain, you're going to consider buying it anyhow. So I think there will always be a need for it.
Well, I would say not necessarily. It would, and it's not interest. You're earning the yield, and you're earning rewards from early in-stake penalties. So I think if hex went to zero because people emergency in-stake to then dump all their hex to zero, then the stake, if I'm understanding correctly, then the stakers would get a lot of all those penalties, but it's not interest. So just to get the terminology correct of hex, it's the yield from inflation.
Yeah, the yield from inflation.
Contract, and then the penalties, the rewards from people early in staking. So
got to be optical.
And a big whale could just wick the price down to zero. And also the price can't go to zero on a DEX. As Richard Hart has said before, the price can go just more and more decimal points down, but the price can never go to zero. But can never go to zero, you know what I mean? It can go very, very low. But it doesn't necessarily mean everyone's going to get a ton of yield or rewards. It would only be that if like a bunch of people emergency and staked, as far as I understand.
There you go. Well, no, because if there's less T-share, if there's less people staking because less people are using Ethereum, there's going to be less T-shares, which means your US dollar value will get you more T-shares on the stake, right? So you'll get a bigger piece of the pie.
Well, yeah, that's true, but you could also just have a big whale could technically wick the price down to almost zero. But
Oh yeah, okay. I hear what you're saying. So if the big whale wicks it down to almost zero, then the t-shirt. But then you can buy it up, right? So I'm saying is you could buy it up for very cheap and get way more t-shares. So like people,
yeah, but
almost
that's
zero.
if you buy it up cheap and stake it. That
Yeah,
doesn't. That's not just.
which will make it
Oh,
not go to
I'm already
zero.
staked. The price wicked to zero. I just gained a ton of
Oh
yield.
yeah. No, what I'm
Yeah,
saying is,
yeah, but
I'm
yeah. You
saying is
could. I
that
mean,
people
yeah,
will
of
go on the
course.
market and they'll pick it up because they'll rather earn the higher yield, on
Hmm.
they'll rather have tons more t-shares, and that'll drive the price back up. So
But yeah, I mean, if everyone started emergency in staking and was like, let's get out of here, then if you just remain staked, you'd be earning so many penalties. It'd be insane. I mean, because when HEX 19, I think, got hacked, that was our largest t-shirt payout, and it was like 25. So if like, imagine 100 times that all these people, well, yeah, like just everyone's like, it'd be kind of nuts.
Hardy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Daniel 2 says ETH is forced to fix their gas fees when Pulsechain launches as well. That what would make sense that EHEX will do long term. Also feels like it's only the unbelievers that will leave EHEX. Yeah, and Johnny Chaos said that very well. He said that right now Ethereum doesn't have to do anything about their gas fees because they're the only show in town, but that's going to change very shortly because of Pulsechain. Okay, so I guess that's it. We'll call it for today's show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please hit the like button, subscribe. Please follow me on Instagram. Book a free 101. Join the Patreon. Go click all of Ben's links. Go join all his stuff. Subscribe to Ben Dubard. I will be there tonight at 4:30 p.m. You want to be on his channel. 4:30 tonight. It's going to be a fun one. So
Gonna be a moonterview, a casual conversation. Gonna get to ask Furu some great questions like, what are those books behind you? Have you read all of them? It'll be fun. It'll be fun. RH Max is in the chat, says, guys, all caps. What's going on? Do we got something crazy going on right now? Oh my God, is this a Richard Hart stream?
No way.
Oh, it's the I want my Pulsechain. Gosh.
You need to address this.
We talked about it earlier. We thought we couldn't play it because of a copyright.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
I thought you just linked a Richard Hart live stream. I was like,
no, we wouldn't be at 135
this
right now.
Is fantastic as well. Are we able to play it? We should play it.
I don't want to get the strike. Could I get the strike if I play it?
I don't know. He posted it on YouTube, so it's probably good.
All right. He says it's more important than Richard Hart stream today.
It is incredible. I watched it like 3 times.
All right, let's play it. Fine. If RH Max says to play it.
For the biscuit, man.
Yeah, totally.
RH Max, we gotta listen. You have 3 of them. 3 of what? What are you talking about? He's done 3 of those music videos.
He's saying 3 strikes.
Oh.
You get you get demonetized though.
Oh. Well, it's your channel, so if you don't want to, it's up to you, man. I don't want to force you. Everyone just go watch it.
All right, we'll do it. I can't say no to RH Max. I wouldn't be where I am today without RH Max. So, but Trader, you know what, RH Max, you got to cover the difference, okay?
You owe Furu like $20.
Yeah, that's right, man. He'll peel my favor. Okay, here we go.
That's right, RH Max. I decided not to monetize my channel. I announced it on my community thing. So,
oh wait, it's muted. Whoops. On fire, process designed for buy and burn. It's too great, but I won't. Okay, I actually could because this is Backstreet Boys. I can't. I'm sorry. That actually is risky.
It's so good.
But he has a very nice voice. He very talented guy. You guys go check him out at Westcott Crypto. And hopefully, I think he's been making some TikToks. So
I don't know how
shout
he
out
did
to
the
him.
video editing on that. That was nuts.
Yeah, it's professional, dude. Yeah, 3D head thing was amazing. There you go. But we were actually talking about you have a special guest this Wednesday at 4:30 p.m.
Thursday at 7:30. I think, right?
No, because he's on
Right.
he's on Western time. I'm trying to talk. He's
you're trying to talk
he's
Western.
3 hours behind. I'm trying to talk
You're
Western.
trying to talk Western.
That's right. That's right. We're not in South Carolina anymore.
Nice.
Are you guys subscribed to RH Max at RH Max? Well, you should be. You guys know RH Max was the first channel to have me on. And I was the first channel to have Ben on, so we pass it forward. Okay.
That's right. I haven't had anyone I haven't done that for anyone else. I don't know who should I do it for. Crap.
It's like a risk on video.
Yeah, RH Max is kind of hogging the chat. It's really not cool. That's not chat etiquette at all.
No, what's mine is yours, RH Max. You hog the chat as much as you want. Seriously. Somebody else.
Yeah, that's not a good look, dude. Not a good look.
All right, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. I will see you guys today at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Ben Dubard's channel. Get over there. Like, subscribe, join the Patreon, book a one-on-one, get access to my trades on the Patreon, and go subscribe to Ben Dubard. I'll see you guys at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great rest of your day.